they had done some shoddy work, they had sold land. So many things came up in Mbarara. So in the interest of having impartiality in investigation, I appeal to the PS to interdict them on advice of the State House Anti-Corruption and CID to enable impartial investigation. Yesterday, I think some of them were given police bond pending the file approval from the Office of the Director Public Prosecution. Then we went to Isinjiro. In Isinjiro is where people do what they want. The cow put up a team of young people to collect taxes on behalf of a district on an expired contract. And they were charging a boda, a bike, and everything, money. So the anti-corruption unit and CID in the night picked that group with evidence from their office. We have audited, and they have audited, close 3-point-something million is collected daily. If they do it in 31 days, they are in over 90 million. When you look at the contract signed with the tenderer, the contract signed, the one which expired, they were giving the district only 42 million shilling. I think that's not a good deal for local government. And also the president had guided no roadblocks to charge on food and charge on other things. The president had given no roadblock. However, when I spoke to my colleague minister, Honorable Ramirama, he said it was a consensus to boost their revenue, local revenue. So they sat with all the 30 sub-counties to collect that money. Now, when you use an intermediary, the people collecting the money on behalf of government are getting more than 60% than what government is getting. I think that is not a good deal. Yeah. So that is mismanagement in its way. Either they are paying little to the government and then more goes to the facilitators in local government. Then we found shoddy road works in Shema Town Council under Usmid, 7-kilometer road with an open drainage, feces flowing to the only water source in Isinjiro Town Council, under the watchful eyes of those technical people, the most qualified people working in the district as technical people. Not only that, we went to schools, and there is an abattoir which was built at a cost of 130 million shilling. But when you look at it, it is as good as a public toilet at the square. Then from there, we went to the machine donated by government under Ministry of Local Government to boost production for farmers. That machine cost taxpayers almost 1 billion shilling. The machine part has been vandalized. The weighing scale was taken. There is no transmission line. The lines are passing, but people installed the machine, put a 3-phase transformer, which was picked immediately after handover. So it has remained idle, and our money has been stuck there. Taxpayers' money is rotting without benefit. I think that is also negligence. Public land has been sold in Isinjiro without approval of the ministry and parliament. Parliament and the ministry are mandated to clear any sale of public land. From there, we went to a rally where several people were chosen, including the veterinary doctor, who charges 200,000 to vaccinate animals against the presidential rule or the ministerial guidance of 30,000. There are young youth leaders who received money under UWEP and YLP. They had never paid. So those ones were arrested on the spot, and I want to report to this conference that they have been able to pay the money that they took wrongly. So now that money has been recovered. So this is a warning to everyone. Do not touch public money. If you're a public servant, let it do the purpose it is intended for. The president has been clear. He needs the public to have improved service delivery. And who's going to do it? It's central government. Who implements? Local government. So as a minister in charge of local government, I will not sit and watch. Yeah. Even the districts I've visited, like Isinjiro, due to its size, I gave them less time. I plan probably in a week's time or 2 weeks' time to come back to Isinjiro to focus on medical, schools, roads, and all these other things done. I want to thank State House Anti-Corruption agents, CID, and DPP for the wonderful job they are doing. Before we came to Mbarara, we had Zimbabwe, where we found 14 workers, town clerk, CFO, deputy cow, land officer. They have been collecting money from people whom the president sponsored to make titles for. They had titles sponsored by the president to give people titles at only 50,000. Now these guys, the smart guys in the district, have been charging the poor peasants 1.5 million. So far, 400 people have registered with their receipts, totaling now to 6 billion stolen from the public in Zimbabwe. One headmaster was transferred 2 years ago. He has remained in place in Zimbabwe. The road fund in Zimbabwe, they manage it as they wish. Nothing they have done. Local government land has been sold. The town clerk and CFO collect money from developers without paying building permit. So people are building without an approved plan. When they are intercepted, they give money to town clerk. This was a confession by developers in Zimbabwe during a public baraza. So now the town clerk of Zimbabwe and the CFO who had been left out the other day during the other interdiction, they will be interdicted with immediate effect as well. I believe the PS has already sent their letter to allow impartial investigation. From Isingiro, many cases came up against public officers who are mandated to implement the water project in Zimbabwe, irrigation project. It was implemented, however, it is only serving one farmer instead of serving 3 cells. And who is supposed to report that to government for the service provided? It is the chief administrative officer. She hasn't done that. She hasn't written to the Minister of Agriculture and the Minister of Water that the dams built are not functioning or the dams built are not working. So many things are happening there. A detailed report will come out in the coming few days. Many of the culprits will go to court. So from Isingiro, we went to Buweju, where we found the chairman, LC5, had received a bribe of 14 million. Allegedly received a bribe of 14 million with a bank slip provided and the contractor willing to testify. Settlements will be drawn. He didn't stop at that. The driver of the tractor confirmed in a meeting on live TV broadcast, Tayara and UBC were live, that the chairman received 90 million for a given road. Out of 95 million, he only used 6 million to grade that road. So the remaining balance that driver asked, Chairman Okazutwarankai. And so many other claims that are coming up. The environment officer permitted government to lose money and build an office of government of a sub-county in a wetland. That is against the law and the presidential directive. The CFO and cow paid for a project which was already in a wetland, despite getting guidance from NEMA that this is a wetland. That amounts to economic sabotage and other cases related, and adamance and corruption. Then the police in Buweju, they have been, before the new DPC, they have been siding with one land grabber called Edwin, who has invaded a village where the locals have lived for 70 years. One old man said he has lived in that village for 70 years, but a rich man has come and is fencing off that 1 mile in Buweju. Initially, I thought it was politics of Mwijuche to win election. But when people confessed and they were crying how they have been treated, how do you close a Catholic church? How do you close a school? Something that has been on the land for all this generation. People who are doing this, whether you get a court order from magistrate court or high court to remove a village, it must be supported by a directive as guided by the president, CID, District Security Committee. Without those minutes and without approval of the Solicitor General to evict a village, it amounts to corruption and it amounts to impunity and arrogance. That person should be charged as well, and I've requested the police to look for him, whether he's a landowner, whether he's not. He must get clearance, and he should also respect the 1995 Constitution, which clearly states if you are in a given area at the time of making that Constitution, you become a bona fide occupant of the said piece of land. The landlord may only collect from you if he has a title, an old title, not a current title. If he has a title, he may only collect from you busul, And the usul are determined by the district council. With approval of the Minister of Local Government. All rates are approved by the Minister of Local Government, but approval of the district council. So the person doing that is also doing wrong. And he was aided by the RDC, who's not the current, the previous RDC, and the elements in police. And would arrest people who would complain, who would go to complain to police that someone is breaking our property. They would arrest them and take them to Mbarara. Not to Ibueju. They arrest you. They don't put you in Ibueju CPS. They take you to Mbarara CPS to intimidate and extort money from the poor. This must stop. From Ibueju, after that Ibueju impunity, now yesterday we were able to visit my brother's district and our uncle General Kaindo Tafire's constituents, as well as Honorable Kazora's constituents, and then we ended up with a rally in Honorable Right Honorable Thomas Tayeba's constituents, which I'm glad that the Right Honorable Tayeba attended this conference. In Mitoma, there is history. A bridge built without an iron bars at the cost of 130 million. A school renovated at 40 million by just putting a ring beam which is even off the wall. If you look at the ring beam, it has gotten off the wall. But they have added iron sheets, 30 gauge, small iron sheets, not allowing a veranda when it is raining to the people. They have not plastered it, and they have charged the government for that renovation, 40 million shilling covered. In Mitoma, they built a roofler of 57 million. If you look at that roofler, it's as good as a kraal, Akaju Kenyana. But they are calling it a roofler. And to make matters worse, where there is a public toilet is where the roofler is. So flies are flying from a fully filled public toilet, flying down to the roofler. And that is the money the meat people are eating in Mitoma. We cannot accept that. So the engineer, the building committee, the physical planning committee, which was led by the former chairman LC5 of Mitoma, they are subject to investigation. And if they are found to have crimes, they should appear in court very soon. So the DEO in Mitoma has allegedly supported people in private schools to take students, UPE, to take candidate students to government schools to be registered free of charge as government students. Because a government student, government pays for you, so you don't pay your NEB. So this DEO failed to intercept that in different government schools. Local private schools are registering their students to benefit from UCE. What does that show? It shows even the students in the private school, most of them are receiving now capitation grant in those given government schools. So that is how we are losing money as government. So you find a school declares 1,500 students. In actual sense, they are 500, but he collects 500 from each given village, each given private school to raise the number of 1,500. And when you count, you'll find the candidate class are the same. But when we went to the candidate class, the students available in class were fewer than the students declared at UNEB. So to implicate such a person becomes tricky till when we got the information that indeed they were picking students from other private schools and they have been registered as students. So government is paying capitation grant for a given candidate class number, which doesn't exist. So the headmasters of the two schools must be charged and investigated and presented to court. The DEO has been interdicted. DHO. The DHO of Mitoma picks money from Health Center 3s. He takes over the control of their funds and is the one controlling the funds. He leaves those health centers without funds, the funds that comes from government to support the patients in the given government hospitals. And so many other things. The head of a hospital in a town council called Bitereko, the head of that hospital ran away. He was transferred to another hospital after running away with 120 million. How do you remove a thief from one cell and you tell him you're going to another cell where they serve sausage and meat and the TV and the AC and a woman for massage or a man for massage? Doesn't that amount to corruption?
Yes.
So that person from Bitereko will be charged, will be investigated, if found to have a crime, charged, and we are not going to stop at that. They must refund all the money stolen. I've had a discussion with his worship, the Chief Justice, to ensure that the law that compels the corrupt to refund whatever they have stolen is done. So from Mitoma, His Excellency the President met members of Parliament, NRM Parliamentary Caucus, and they requested him that they need an urgent intervention in Maracha, in Pakwach, Adjumani, and other West Nile region districts. So next week I'll be in West Nile. When I finish West Nile, I'll hit back Mbale, Bugisu, to finish the other 3 districts that remained, and Kapchora. Shema, Bushenyi, Ntungamo, Mbarara, Ibanda, Kazo, Chiruhura, you'll be next. You must account for every cent sent to you the last 5 years. You must account for the money given to you to build the water dams. In one district, 15 billion was spent to build a dam. The dam doesn't exist. I will not mention the district, but whoever was involved will go in that drone of anti-corruption. The time of eating government money, you will blackmail Barugahara. You will blackmail the people behind it. You may blackmail Nameri, but you're not going to kill our patriotic spirit. We are strong as gold. Then I want to answer another thing. I saw my friend Romshana and the Honorable Ingrid of good enough they all come from Rukwinjiri. That now, how do you investigate people when they are using your public address system? I want to put this clear to all of you, and I want you to quote it. The public address system that we use, indeed, it belongs to my company. But I've offered free service because the crowds I'm getting cannot hear my voice without public address system. Our Minister of Local Government hasn't budgeted for any money. When I became a minister, a budget was released. So there was no budget for accountability rallies. There is no single budget. So what do? I have equipment and I'm a patriot, unless when I'm a fake patriot. So I provide that system free of charge. Honorable Ramshana and Ingrid and all the other people who are making noise over what you don't know, I provide it. It's not the first time I've done it. In the Ministry of Gender and Labor, I didn't have a government car as a minister. I had a DMC, which nearly cost my life in Kagadi during Christmas when I was driving from Honorable Matiaka Saija. So I embarked on using my own car. When the minister, my predecessor, the one who succeeded me, my young sister, Lakisa Mase, joined the ministry. He said, the minister, where's the car? He said, here is a handover. I gave her a key. She also packed it. She's driving her small car. Because we are patriots. We cannot wait for resources to be available to work. And if at all there are resources in the ministry for that given purpose, the PS normally advertises and people put in bids. My company was one of those companies that were listed before I became a minister. I will consult the Attorney General if at all when my company was listed as a supplier and I've become a minister, whether it sees to, whether to amount conflict of interest. However, I have not received any purchase order and I have not received any amount of money from that from government of Uganda, either through Parliament or through Cabinet or through a vote. There is no vote for accountability rally. That vote is not there. But I'm doing it, and I'm not doing it alone. My brother Tayebwa has put in place daily 5 million shilling to support his team of Tayari who have been covering the anti-corruption crusade from the time we started in Uganda till now. My brother King Kalis of Next Media has done the same. Government has not given him any money. That is what we call patriotism. Nation Media Group is doing the same. I've seen Nation Media every day posting on their page, covering all these things in Isinjura and everywhere. Yeah. So Ugandans, if you have a public address and you want to give us, my colleague Minister Honorable Namere, she's here to get a set to enable her also hold rallies because the country is too huge. So kindly support Honorable Namere as well with a free public address system, since government has no budget for public address system. But as long as I'm a minister, whether I'm not a minister, even before I was a minister, I would sponsor these things. And I don't sponsor as Barugahara. There's a difference between Barugahara and Baitu. Baitu is a company, a medium taxpayer, paying taxes and employing thousands of people. So as a minister and as one of the partners in that campaign, I will keep supporting this campaign. I want to thank the hotels, Dreamwood, Silverback, all hotels we have gone. They have been providing us free space to do our press conferences and meetings. In Imbarara there is Golf View, in Imbale, in Namisindwa, in Bududa. So the districts that I have not covered, we shall cover. Tugende mu Luganda. So kanjala